You know, it's such a weird thing. The way that people kind of react to different games and the way that people sort of react to different things depending on what their particular favorite is. You don't need to look any further than to look at the reactions to God of War Ragnarok, which were revealed at the PlayStation event not too long ago, a few weeks ago. And how people, mostly I would say Xbox fans, kind of commented that that game looked a little bit more like a 1.5 or not really a huge upgrade. Oddly enough, the thing about that is God of War from 2018 was already looking better graphically than anything Microsoft has released. So it's a little bit ironic to hear that from so many fanboys. Now looking at the Halo Infinite beta and still going back and looking at the original gameplay that we saw, you can see that there's really nothing in comparison between the two, but it's still going to be fun to kind of go over this and find out where people are kind of have their minds at, because I find this to be very interesting because on social media a lot of people are posting, you know, their Halo screenshots and stuff like that, talking about how good it looks, and I'm looking at that thinking this game doesn't look good at all. You know, and I'm looking back at the God of War Ragnarok video and I'm like, these are the same people claiming that God of War Ragnarok didn't look good, but now we're saying that Halo Infinite looks great, and Halo Infinite looks very much average to me in terms of, you know, the graphical capabilities and things like that. But I do want to get into it. What's up, everybody? Crapgamer here with Crapgamer Reviews, back with yet another video. Thank you so much for checking it out. I certainly appreciate it. Please like, share, subscribe. I would appreciate that as well. You know, again, rebuilding, rebranding, doing a lot of things, getting some videos out and stuff like that. I always have such a good time doing that, and I'm very much appreciative of each and every one of you. Thank you very much. So, again, this was very strange because God of War, the first one from 2018, even on a base PlayStation, now this is a bit of opinion, but even on a base PlayStation, looked better than the Xbox exclusives, even on a much more powerful Xbox One X. And now we're into the Xbox Series consoles, and of course people are going to go, oh, well, you know, what's the best looker on there? You know what I mean? And we can see that we don't have any campaign footage that's new from Halo Infinite. I mean, this game is out in, you know, 2 months' time, and we haven't seen anything from it aside from last year when we got the lovable Craig the Brute. You know, again, very interesting to see that, you know, 343 Studios has gone through the most amount of dev time. They've doubled the amount of dev time on Halo Infinite as opposed to any other Halo, and yet it's still not going to launch complete, and we haven't seen any campaign gameplay other than what we saw last year. Now, will it look better? I'm sure it's got to look better than what we saw back then. You know, again, we've seen plenty of the multiplayer, but we haven't really seen much in terms of, you know, the campaign, which again, I know a lot of people go, well, Halo is all about the multiplayer. Those people, you can tell, like, that's that old thing. Tell me you're not a fan, you're not really a fan of Halo without telling me you're not a fan of Halo. You know, the people that go, well, it's all about multiplayer. Listen, Halo is known for multiplayer, but the first Halo didn't even have that. You know, Halo has always had like this great lore and this great kind of story behind it, and I think that is, like, for me personally, what I enjoy the most. Now, I've been able to go through every Halo game since day one, and one of the great things about that is I've gone through them all with, like, family and friends and things like that. So my younger brother Hellhammer, me and him, you know, have obviously kind of played through each of these together, and it's kind of just unfortunate that this is the first one that we won't be able to go out there and enjoy together and play it. So I've already been on record as saying I have zero plans to go out there and play Halo day one or anything like that. And that might not mean not much, because I'm on record as saying, you know, I think that Halo Infinite is going to set all records and break a bunch of records for being able to go out there and have the most quote-unquote players. But I also think that we could be in a situation where we might not see, you know, a lot of that player retention and things like that. So as far as I'm concerned, you know, I think Halo looks fine. Like, I'm not trying to downplay what it is. And I think that the Halo multiplayer, you know, I think that there's gonna be great for the people that like Halo, but I also think that it's hard telling how good or bad that the game's going to be, the multiplayer in particular, based off of what Xbox fans say, because Xbox fans have a tendency to overplay anything that Microsoft does and underplay anything that Sony does, and that's typical. I mean, that can go both ways. I totally understand that and agree to that. It's just a sad fact of the matter is a lot of people even did this for a game like Bleeding Edge on the Xbox, which was a flat-out bad game. A lot of them refused to admit that it was a bad game. And then, like I said, you had Sony, where they showcased God of War Ragnarok, and you had a bunch of Xbox fans claim that it wasn't a good-looking game. And I always just thought that was a little bit odd, considering that we haven't really seen much in the way of graphics and stellar-looking graphics from actually from the Xbox. Like, we haven't seen that, and that's really, really kind of unfortunate, to say the least. And I do hope that we get something that changes that before too long. I'm really looking forward to seeing something graphically impressive. And before you get all on me about Flight Simulator, understand that I'm not impressed with that, because that's not a typical game. That's not like a game to me, where you can sit there and play a game and just have a good time, and there's some kind of point to it. Flight Simulator is simulating flights. It doesn't really make a whole hell of a lot of sense to me, and it's just sort of unfortunate that so many people are kind of equating that, because they don't have anything real to equate it to. On the PlayStation side, they're like, look at Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut, or look at Death Stranding Director's Cut, look how great it looks, or look how great Ratchet and Clank look at that ray tracing. There's not a traditional game like that on Xbox, and so they have no choice really but to sit there and go, oh, well, look at Flight Sim, because if you think about it, the games that have come out, have been pretty much low budget and not really anything special. Like Psychonauts looks okay, but it's not a great looking game. Gears Tactics, not a great looking game, looks like a mobile game. There's just these kind of situations. So when you compare these games, it just, to me, it's a funny situation, because we just have, people kind of want to deny everything that that Sony does, and they want to make everything that Microsoft does seem like it's just the best thing ever. And I'll never understand that. I just don't think I ever will. But maybe one day we'll see something happen. So I do hope that that's the case. But until then, probably just gonna have to deal more and more with fanboys and things like that. In this instance, I do think that Halo Infinite, is it a great looking game for the multiplayer? To me, it doesn't look great. It looks kind of average for what you maybe would expect for a free to play game. I mean, I don't think Warzone looks incredibly good either. Or Apex Legends or Fortnite. It's just that the game is what it is. So, with that being said, I would appreciate your guys' thoughts and feedback on this matter. But do you think that it's funny that, at the end of the day, we're in a situation where people on the Xbox side think Halo Infinite looks great, and I've even seen people say best looking game of this generation, and yet those same people said that God of War Ragnarok didn't look good. I mean, I don't know. It's strange to me. Let me know what you think. Rack 'em up, fact 'em up, Crap Gamer 'em up. Thanks for watching. Crap Gamer out.